country music has seen a huge surge in popularity all throughout 2024 thanks to artists such as Morgan Wallen, Beyonce, Post Malone, Shaboozey, Moneybagg Yo, and countless others. We most certainly can't forget about the hold Shaboozey's Tipsy had on the internet for several months, as well as Beyonce's album Cowboy Carter, Post Malone's F1 Trillion, and Morgan Wallen's collab songs with different rappers such as Lil Durk and Moneybagg Yo. I myself have had quite a bit of fun making country beats and instrumentals this year. It's just a completely different kind of vibe that you go for in most cases than the typical trap stuff, which I'm honestly just kind of tired of, if I'm being 100% real. So for today's video, I'm going to show you all how you can make some modern country / trap instrumentals or beats for artists of the likes of Post Malone, Morgan Wallen, Kid G, and many others. What's going on, everybody? My name is CJ, aka CJink. I'm a music producer, musician, engineer, and doer of all things music. Let's start off this video by me breaking down some of my more favorite country beats and instrumentals I made this year, and then we'll make one on the spot here for you to watch and learn from. So before we break down our first beat, I do want to say there's kind of two different ways that I typically go about making these instrumentals and beats. I'll either start one with an acoustic guitar melody loop if I just don't feel like recording one, or I'll record one of my own. I've probably made about 50% of them from scratch, while the other half have been either loops I found from Splice, Looperman, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at my first country beat I ever posted named Backyard. Okay, so here's the first one I ever did titled Backyard. It looks like there's a whole lot going on, but really when we get into it, there's not a whole lot of different sounds going on within this track. So let's go ahead and take a quick listen to it, and I'll go ahead and kind of scroll throughout it as it plays so you can get an idea of what's in this project. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here. If you want to listen to this full beat, like I said, it's titled Backyard. I'll put a link to all these beats in the description below from my beat store, so feel free to check them out over there. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start off here with the main melody loop. This was a Looperman loop here. Just by looking at it, you can tell that it was off a little bit. If I make our grid size a little bit smaller here, you can definitely see it was a little ahead of time, which, you know, is what an organic loop is going to be like, you know, because it's not spot on 90% of the time. So all I did was I just warped it to get it perfectly on time, and also the end of it here, there was just this tiny, you can just barely see it here, this tiny little nodule of silence or something weird going on. So I had to warp it to get rid of that so it would seamlessly transition. So if you just want to listen to like the first couple bars here. Versus the warp. So it still sounds pretty tight, and you can't really tell it's warped, thankfully. So that is our first main acoustic guitar loop I started this one with. Next up, I'll go ahead and show, I threw on an organ here, playing some, I think just kind of fifths and octaves here. Let's take a look. D, yeah, so just kind of like the equivalent of power chords on guitar here. So nothing too exciting there, but there's just something about an organ in country music, especially for this vibe I'm going for right here. I don't know how to describe it. It just kind of pulls everything together in a way, you know, just kind of keeping that consistent chord, I guess, you know, for each bar going. So next up for this little intro section here, I'll go ahead and show you the real drums I programmed in here. I used the Get Good Drums One Kit Wonder Modern Fusion for this, and I didn't go too crazy. I just did, you know, just a simple little beat right there with it. I wanted it to really feel like a full country song, I guess you would say, instead of just kind of a beat. So I got that on there, and I didn't do much mixing on this. One or two of my beats, I did like isolate each drum sound to its own track here. But for this one, I just threw on standard clip and a limiter just to get it hitting a little bit harder. Next up, we have a little riser, of course. You can hear that. And then I've got some guitar chucks in here just to give a little impact to something here right before the drop. Without them, it just kind of feels empty. We can listen to the whole drop without them, and you can tell something's definitely just not there. Versus, you know, it just makes it hit that much harder. I've also got a little impact here. You can't hardly hear it. It's just kind of there to be there for the sake of being there, I guess. And lastly here, we've just got some really basic trap drums. And then the 808 really wasn't that crazy itself either. I think I just stuck to the root notes, and, you know, I didn't make it hit a new note every bar, so it gave it a little bit of a different vibe to it. Honestly, just a very simple beat here. And lastly, I'll go ahead and show you the different guitar takes here. I've got a little lead take that I did here. I had to kind of comp it, record it out, and then, you know, just kind of go bar by bar for a couple sections. I'm gonna be 100% honest, I don't really write a full guitar solo or a lick 9 times out of 10, well, maybe 8 times out of 10. I prefer just to kind of noodle and see what comes out, and then record it section by section, and then that way, you know, I can decide, well, maybe I need to change something here so it's, you know, for continuity down here and stuff like that. So here's a listen with that, and I'll be toggling in and out the panned electrics as well. So one little quick thing to note, I will show you the guitar chain for this. I'm using Guitar Rig. I started with a country preset here. Actually, for the distorted, I did not. I did this super tight Fire Seeker. I think it might have been in the country presets though. Started with that. I did quite a bit of processing, and typically, you know, I wouldn't do this much on a normal beat, you know, something in a beat, but just to get the vibe on one. And one thing I did a couple years into making beats, I was mainly just using my Ibanez at the time, and I wanted to emulate a single coil pickup, you know, something like a Telecaster for this or a Strat, something like that. And I actually came across something somebody made talking about how to mimic the EQ response out of those pickups. So I've got them saved here in my presets here, so I can completely, you know, get that sound. So like you can see that's a pretty, and I followed this guy to a T, so obviously that looks pretty crazy. So I just kind of tone it down a little bit depending on the vibe I want, and that's how I got that sound out of it. For the lead here, same deal, you know, same EQ, different same preset just with some delay on it, and same thing, EQ, multiband compression, saturation. So lastly, I'll show you the clean guitar in this. So as you can hear, there's a little bit of hiss, and you can actually see it here on the clean guitar bus. There's just a little bit of something going on there. It's because of this tape echo, actually. It sounds like that. I think Wallen made it. Kind of look like a guitar amp head. That's where the noise is coming from, is that tape echo, and it really gives that vibe. And I think I used a, Country Delight preset. Really like that preset. I also had the tape delay on it there, so it's, you know, you're getting double the noise basically, unfortunately. But I automated it to come in and out here, so no noise, then noise, and then no noise again. And then the guitar for this section is just a different way I played this, you know, so it'd be a and B section. So I play that the same way all throughout, and then on this section here, like I used for the hook, I go up on the second half here. If you've learned something and have enjoyed this video so far, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a whole lot and lets YouTube know other people like yourself need to watch this. I'll be putting a link to all of the country beats I showed you here, as well as my others on my beat store down in the description, so be sure to check check them out there. And also, if you've not already, feel free to join my grouped community, the Siege Stands. That link is down in the description as well. You can join for free or join one of the paid tier options. I've got free beats for artists. If you're a producer, I drop free loops and kits and all stuff like that. So feel free to join that as well. Okay, so now that I've went over those two beats, let's go ahead and cook up a beat right here on the spot. I probably won't do anything with a lot of recording, just so anybody can watch this and see that, hey, you don't have to be able to play instruments to make these beats. However, they definitely help you, and it really just comes down to music theory and music education, I guess you would say, you know, when you make these beats, so you can do the arrangement right, chord progressions right, you know, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, let me go ahead and find a loop real quick, and then we will get to making the beat. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use this here. It's 85 BPM, which most of these beats have been, so we'll go ahead and just double that and make that 170. Alrighty, I think we've got enough material here to work with, and like I mentioned, you know, this proves that this is possible for you if you play instruments or if you don't. So let's go ahead. I'll probably just save this for verses and the intro here, but let's cook on the main section here. I'm just going ahead and dumping quite a few sounds that I like to use on here. I'm just going to basically click everything in. Then I'm going to layer the snare with the clap just so we get a different feel to it as well. Similar to that first beat, Backyard, I always like doing this little like snare roll here at the end. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do for drums. That was pretty quick. You know, like that first beat I showed you, the drums were not complex at all. They just had to carry the rhythm and change up throughout the whole thing. So that's kind of the vibe and the wave I'm going with these as well. I think I might also slow this down just a pinch. I think 170s maybe just a little fast. It's funny because this progression's like almost identical to a song I did in my entertainment technology program that I went to college for. My professor there got a lot of work in Nashville and whatnot, and it's just one of the very like most common progressions. Okay, Okay, I think that sounds pretty good so far. Definitely need to work on the arrangement here, and I might throw in some real drums or something as far as how it goes. I actually want to add like a couple melody sounds to this. I know we've kind of got a couple other sounds behind here, but I want to add some like synth type stuff. Alright, I think I like that. I'm just gonna kind of throw it in there and sparkle it in. I might go back and add a couple more sounds, but yeah, let's go ahead and listen to the full beat. For watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. That'll help me out a whole lot and lets YouTube know to recommend this video to others like yourself. Like I said, you can find all of these beats down in the description below, as well as the link to join my grouped community. Be sure to comment something down below as well if you enjoyed, or if you have any suggestions or any questions or anything really. Thank you all for watching. My name is CJ, aka CJink. Have a good whatever time of day you're watching this, and God bless.